On March 6th of 2021, Brother Ayrton and his family traveled to Guaxupé in the state of Minas Gerais. Driving on the road and under heavy rain, they suffered a severe accident.
The car was unstable and rotated, and we were going fast, 70 kilometers per hour. I only prayed, Lord, keep my family safe. The door on the left side of the car, where my boy was sitting, wouldn't open due to the impact. My door wasn't opening as well, and the windows were all shattered over us. It was a horrible scene. I felt a lot of pain, but I was out of danger. My son Daniel fractured his left wrist, and Mariana only had a small cut in her head. But when I looked to my side and I saw my husband completely unconscious, there was a lot of blood, and I started to talk to him, telling him to come back because I don't want to lose him, and crying out to God at the same time, please, Lord, don't let my husband die. And he started to come back.
But I was still really struggling to remain awake. I would go in and out of consciousness, in and out of consciousness.
And soon enough, Pastor Paulo and Pastor Eliana came to us, and they were traveling with us to the same destination, and they saw everything.
His arm was, well, at least those of us who were looking at it, it seemed like it was hanging. There was a small tissue holding it, And when the firemen came over, and they had to use machinery to cut all of the plates of the car, They opened it like a can of tuna,
We were all taken to the same hospital, the whole family.
I didn't feel any pain. I didn't even know that my arm was hanging like that. My arm was broken in 3 parts. It was a humerus fracture, and my shoulder was broken too. The bone in my arm was 27 centimeters out of my skin. The 2 bones near the humerus were broken too. They were all shattered. My tendon was ruptured and the posterior ligament was ruptured. And for 2 or 3 centimeters of skin, I didn't lose my whole arm.
Fractures associated with tendon injuries are always more complicated. You may need more than one surgery, a more prolonged rehabilitation. You may have a sequel, a significant loss of strength, a change in sensitivity, muscle atrophy, decrease, elevation. That's how we say it when we talk about the shoulder.
When the doctor first saw his condition at the emergency room, they wanted to amputate him.
As the situation was already well advanced, and even to alleviate the suffering, he said that all he had to do is use the scalpel and remove the skin, because it was already ripped off, it was torn apart.
When I heard those words from the doctors, I prayed, God, you saved us from death at the moment of the accident, and it will not be now that we are going to be helpless.
We created a prayer group in the city of Pumi, and the whole region was praying for him,
On the same day, a doctor shows up and decides to operate on Ayrton's arm, and the amputation is not performed.
He was leaving his shift, and he came back to duty and said, I will take care of this case, and I will put the arm back in its place. I believe that God touched this man's heart.
He would never have the same movements again. My 2 children and I were discharged. God was putting his hands over us all the time. 2 days after we were discharged, he was 2, and that was a miracle.
They were born again.
I underwent 4 surgeries. I left the hospital with my arms, my whole shoulder, with braces and with all the hardware to hold the ligaments. God moved in such a great way that I didn't need to stay there. I didn't stay for 50 days, and it was foreseen for 90 days. And soon after, the movements came back, things started to move forward. It was a surprise for everyone.
He could move his fingers again, so we started to see that it was God, right?
I just needed physiotherapy, and I didn't even need to do all the 20, 30 physiotherapy sessions just like I was supposed to.
It's been a fantastic recovery.
My arm, it's perfect now, for the glory of God. Today I can do the bilateral movements, the lateral movements, upwards, down, to all the sides.
And today when I see him moving his arm normally, it's truly God's miracle.
I have the pleasure of moving around, helping my wife in the kitchen, putting clothes on the line. I can only thank the Lord for this miracle.
I always say that God gave Ayrton's life back to us. It wasn't the day for us to go yet. We still have something to do.